Hello everyone. In today's live session, we will talk about the importance of heterocyclic chemistry or heterocyclic compounds. This is you are welcome from the platform of chemical freelancers. So we should start from our lecture, which is the importance of heterocyclic compounds, heterocyclic chemistry, heterocyclic other species where they found, where they present, and what is their role in our diet, in our uh, today's life, in in our commercial life, in our agricultural life, in our medicine. Almost they are present everywhere. So we are starting from the introduction of heterocyclic compounds. So basically, what are heterocyclic compounds? Heterocycles are the compounds in which one or two carbon atoms of carbocyclic rings are replaced by some atoms other than carbon. The most commonly occurring heterocycles in heterocyclic compounds are basically nitrogen, oxygen, or sulfur. So in the ring, the carbon is replaced by can be replaced by either nitrogen, oxygen, or sulfur, and as a result, we get compounds known as heterocyclic compounds. Further, if we talk about heterocyclic compounds, there are some other atoms other than carbon, other than oxygen, sulfur, or nitrogen that can replace of carbon in the ring that can form stable covalent bond, and that is necessary for the ring construction and can further lead to roundabout heterocycles. So the compounds that are other than nitrogen, sulfur, or are phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, silicon, selenium, tellurium, boron, and germanium. So these are actually the compounds that can replace the uh, carbon and can form heterocyclic compounds. So next, there are actually almost 15 elements from group 2 to 4 that are capable of forming heterocycles. So these are actually form heterocyclic compounds. So there are I have already told you there are a lot of elements from 15 elements. I have already told you the names of that elements: nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen, tellurium, phosphorus. Next, these are some examples of heterocyclic compounds. The first one is pyridine. There is a nitrogen which has replaced carbon. So as a result, there is a pyridine. These are dihydro. They have two double bonds. They are tetrahedros, and this is piperazine. This is morpholine. This is quinoline, and this is isoquinoline. So these are basic. This is purine. This is not, sorry. This is not isoquinoline. This is purine. So next, we will discuss the scope of heterocycle compound. I hope you have completely come to know what are actually heterocyclic compounds. So next, we will talk about its scope, where they found, where they are playing role naturally as well as synthetically. So the scope of a heterocyclic compound is very vast. There you can see the figure 24 to 82 to 84. These is the statistics of heterocycles that are we know the cyclic structures with heterocycle system make these compounds. So this is a huge figure, and these form heterocyclic compounds. Next, we will discuss their scope in the biological processes. Biological processes mean carbohydrates, nucleic acids, protein, lipids, and they are found there. If we talk about the nucleic acids, they are actually the derivatives of purines, which is a heterocyclic compound, and like you can see adenine, guanine, and pyrimidines. They are actually such as thiamine, cytosine, cytosine. So these are actually involved in the replication of DNA as well as RNA, and so these are actually found in the biological processes, and these biological processes are as a result of heterocyclic compounds. And next is There are as also some bases I have already told you, purines and pyrimidines, that are also not only the part of DNA or RNA but also form antibiotics by the interference with DNA synthesis. So puromycin is an example of antibiotic which is the result of purine or pyrimidine, and which are the derivatives of heterocyclic compounds. Next, if we talk about petroleum, then we know that petroleums are the result of organic compounds, and in that organic compound there are mostly heterocyclic compounds. And in petroleum, if we talk about, there is a low concentration of nitrogen and sulfur containing heterocycles. And next, if we talk about the coal, which is also a big source of pyridine containing heterocycles, and that is by the help of pyrolysis. And so next, if we talk about our solar system, many heterocycles are found in the chemistry of solar system, such as meteorite. That meteorite, which is a part of our solar system, and that contain pyridine carboxylic acid. So this is, I have already told you, there is a very huge scope of these sort of compounds. And next, if is the marine plants and animals. If we talk about them, they are also a big source of complex heterocycles for research purpose, because they have a wide range of compounds. So these are basically used for the research purpose. Next, if we talk about heterocycles in our diet, and such as the carbohydrate chemistry we talk about, and that contain disaccharides, polysaccharides, such as furanose, pyranose, that contain oxygen. So these are also important monosaccharides, uh, such as D-glucose. So these are actually either they are heterocycles or the derivatives of heterocycles. And next, if we talk about both plants and animals has some sort of similar compounds, such as plants has chlorophyll, and animals have hemoglobin. So these are both are the derivatives of heterocyclic compounds of porphyrin ring system. And these are the main components which required for the photosynthesis and for oxygen transport. Chlorophyll in plants required for photosynthesis, and hemoglobin in animals required for oxygen transport in higher plants and animals. So next is, on moon, if we talk about on moon, there are also many heterocyclic compounds are present, such as porphyrins. Next, there are also thousands of nitrogen containing heterocycle compounds, such as alkaloids found in plant kingdom, such as if we talk about black pepper, which is actually the alkaloid of nitrogen containing heterocycles, such as papaverine. Next, in our essential diet, ingredients are also heterocyclic compounds. There are, as I have already told you, there is a big vast there is a vast scope of these compounds. Next, if we talk about uh, in our diet, there is a vitamin B1 thiamine, uh, and you can watch the resources from where we get vitamin B1 in our food. So these are also actually the derivatives of heterocyclic compounds. Next is B2, vitamin B2, which is also known as riboflavin. This is also actually the derivative of heterocyclic compound, and we get them from eggs and milk, etc. Next, if we talk about vitamin B6, which is a pyridoxal, this is also actually the derivative of heterocyclic compounds. And the very famous vitamins, such as vitamin C, which is also known as ascorbic acid. This is found in the citrus fruits, such as oranges. So these are actually thus also derivatives of heterocyclic compounds. Next, there are we know that in our body there are several important amino acids that form proteins. So out of the 20 amino acids that commonly found in different proteins, basically proteins that are made up of amino acids, three main amino acids such as histidine, histamine, proline, and tryptophan. So these are actually of heterocyclic nature. Next, there are some applications of heterocycles. We have come to know that the heterocycles are present everywhere. We can't resist them to our diet or our daily living. They are present outside the Earth, in Moon, in our solar system, meteorites, Moon, etc. So next we will discuss their application, where they are applied further. So many natural as well as synthetic heterocycles are of valuable importance. Like we apply heterocycles in medicinal field, in agrochemicals, in plastic precursors, dyes, photographic chemicals, and so on. And new structures are constantly being sought in research in these areas. So many new structures are also getting formed, and there are many current uses of them. So we will discuss each of the field one by one. First, we will discuss medicine. And medicine, if we talk about medicine, so 7 out of 10 brands of pharmaceutical industry use are actually heterocyclic based. So because why? Because in the medicine there are there are actually active ingredients, and that active ingredients are pharmaceutically active ingredients are actually heterocyclic in nature, and that active ingredients are the pyridines, indoles, quinolines, azipines, and pyrimidines. So because of that, there is a huge vast scope. There is a huge application of heterocycle in the field of medicine. Now we will discuss some of the medicines that are used in the field of medicine. In the ancient times, the herb Shen, it was used for the prevention of fever. Yeah, it is a herb that contain a heterocycle. That heterocycle name was beta dicloran, and you can see its structure. And next, there are also drug ancient medicine, which is opium. It also contained morphine, and it was used for to study the drug effect on heart attack. So this was also a heterocyclic. And next, uh, first synthetic heterocycles was antipyrine. It was actually a pyrazole analgesic and aspirin-like antipyretic. It is used in a solution with benzocaine against ear, and swelling caused by middle ear infection. So you can see there is another heterocycle in the field of medicine. Next, for the treatment of epilepsy, phenobarbital, it was used. It is actually the market derivative of barbituric acid. It is also has effect on cerebral circulation. And next, if we talk about malaria, now that in the COVID situation, this medicine was also remain a big blessing for humanity. So also for the treatment of malaria, we use quinine and chloroquine. So another heterocycle is quinine, which was found from the bark of Circona. It was used as an anti-malarial drug, and furthermore, chloroquine was also the quinine was actually natural heterocycle, and chloroquine was a synthetic heterocycle. It was to overcome the shortage problem of quinine. The chloroquine was produced. It was also used in place of quinine. So it was used in the treatment of malaria. Next, new drug name red dye 4,2,4 diaminophenyl azobenzene sulfonamide hydrochloride. So this is a very big name. It was introduced for people that have streptococcus. Next, their HCT or hydrochlorose chlorothiazide. It was a diuretic. It actually inhibits the kidney's ability to retain water, and it actually reduces the sulfur level, and also used in treatment of hypertension and kidney stones. And so this is another heterocyclic containing medicine. And next there are many other sulfonamide non-antibiotics such as dorzolamide and bryzolamide, so that are used for the treatment of glaucoma. Dorzolamide and brinzolamide. Bryzolamide. Okay, next is uh, piri. Pyridine is also used in many drugs, many other drugs for the reduction of acid amount produced in the stomach. Further, they also reduce the reflex problem, ulcers or heat burns. So these drugs are omeprazole, lansoprazole, pantoprazole, and rabiprazole. So you can see these structure, and these are like all heterocyclic in nature. And next, we will discuss the agrochemicals. The heterocycles, natural as well as synthetic, that are used in the field of agriculture, agrochemicals. So many heterocycles are used for both crops and animal treatment, like in medicine. So we have already discussed their treatment as a medicine. Now we will discuss their role as a agrochemical. So many of them are used as fungicide, herbicide, and plant growth regulator. They are all synthetic heterocycles. So these are actually laboratory prepared in the laboratory and are all synthetic. So the first one is many pyridine derivative are used in the biochemical activity, and picrodon is one of them. So it is actually a herbicide that is applied to kill broadleaf weeds. So it is actually has properties auxin like. It is actually to increase the growth of plants rapidly. So it is both herbicide as well as auxin like chemical. So you can see its structure is also actually the heterocycle based. Next is actually chloro pyrifos. It is a insecticide. Paraquat and diquat both are also used for non-selective rapid action uh, herbicides that act on all green plants by the interference of photosynthesis and electron transport chains. So these are also heterocyclic in nature. Next, fluridone. This is another herbicide which is a carotenoid inhibitor. It interferes in the photosynthesis by producing singlet oxygen. So it also has a big role in the photosynthesis. This is also heterocyclic in nature. Next, we will discuss some quickly. We will discuss quickly some agrochemical, their structures and their usage. So first is Captan. This is, you can see its structure. It is used as a fungicide. Next is Prosimidon. This you can see its structure, and it is a fungicide. It is applied against fungi. Next is uh, carbofuran, and it you can see its structure, and it is a insecticide. Iprodinone, and it is a fungicide. Binomial, it is a fungicide. Fluvirizole, this is a fungicide. Isolan, this is a insecticide. Next, methabenzoate, this is a insecticide. Methyldathione, this is actually another insecticide. Oxadiazone, this is a herbicide. So these were all the agrochemicals. Next, we will discuss the role of heterocycles in the commercial field. Heterocycles are of great commercially importance, such as in the field of technology. So heterocycles are very important in the field of dyes and pigments. They show color, and their ability to show color is because of the extended unsaturated conjugation. And if we talk about any heterocycle in this regard, some wine. was the first industry synthetic compound that is used in the dyes and pigments. Next, there is another very famous compound such as indigo, and indigo both have it has extended conjugation. I have already told you which is the reason behind them showing color. So it is also found in dyes and pigment chemicals. Next is in the photography technology. There are also a lot of heterocycle are used because of its broadness. And next, in the polymer technology, we are talking about commercial importance of them. And the polymer in the polymer technology, they can be pendants on a polymer chain as formed by heterocycle substituent and during monomer polymerization, and many polymers are formed by closing heterocyclic rings, so these are also of great importance. Next, as a light stabilizer in plastic and coating formulation, these are actually to protect ultraviolet radiation degradation. So for that, hindered heterocyclic amines are used. And if we talk about any of the structure in this regard, so Tinuvian 770 is important. And the last one is heterocycles are used in the electro-optical field such as LEDs and thin film transistors and photovoltaic cells. This is because I have already said they have unsaturated extended conjugation. And the phospholding, you can see here, this is a phospholding, and it is very important because the compound has LED properties, and when they deposit between the bilayer cathode and anode, they emit yellow light. So these are all the importance of heterocyclic chemistry, heterocyclic compounds. And if you have any queries, you can ask me in the comment section. And if you have any suggestions to give me, you can also give me in the comment section. It is also request you to like this video, comment on this video, and share this video, and also subscribe this channel.